You are a villain who kidnapped the smart guy on your nemesis team. They tell you that nobody will come for them and that the hero doesn't care. You didn't believe them at first, but it's been a month and nobody shows up, and after once again hearing them cry at night you had enough. A real villain has loyal minions. That's practically rule number 1 in the handbook. Treat them with fairness, and they'll return the favor with obedience and unwavering loyalty. Of course, that doesn't mean letting them run wild. Betrayal is met with swift and theatrical punishment. But as long as they do their jobs well, they should be rewarded. That's how you maintain a healthy work environment in a villainous organization. Which is why, when my minions successfully executed my plan to kidnap the Brainiac from the hero's team, I rewarded them properly, with a cash bonus and an all-you-can-eat pizza party. Meanwhile, the scrawny nerd in question was suspended in a cage over the obligatory pool of menacing creatures. Due to recent villainous organization safety regulations, RIP, Francis McLaughlin, janitorial minion number 0201, the sharks had been replaced with a terrarium full of genetically engineered, overly friendly otters. They were still a mild threat, given their tendency to cuddle people into submission, but at least they wouldn't devour anyone. The prisoner, however, didn't seem particularly distressed. He just sat in his cage, looking vaguely miserable. When I began my required minimum amount of villain gloating, "You'll never get rescued," he simply muttered, "I know. Nobody will come for me. Thaddeus Heroicus doesn't care." Now, that was not the usual response. Typically, they'd yell something dramatic like, "You won't get away with this," or "My friends will come for me." The lack of resistance was unsettling. But, at the time, I was riding high on victory and brushed it off. We kept partying until dawn. It was only later that I started to realize something was wrong. A week passed. Then another. By the end of a month, I had to admit it, no rescue attempt was coming. Curious, I checked the security feed of his cell. He barely moved. He hardly ate. Every night, he lay on the cot, curled in on himself, and cried until he fell asleep. At first, I chalked it up to the usual broken hero spirit thing, but even that didn't sit right. So I did something I never do. I left my throne, walked down to the dungeon, and visited him. There was something surreal about standing outside the cell, me, an 8-foot-tall, heavily armored lizard man, looming over this scrawny human teenager who had been left to rot by his so-called allies. I unlocked the door and stepped inside, sitting down beside him. "So, you weren't kidding. The hero really doesn't care." He just nodded. I hesitated before laying a massive clawed hand on his back, vaguely recalling that this was supposed to be a comforting gesture. "I don't get it. The hero always comes for his allies. What's happening?" The kid sat up, eyes red and swollen from weeks of crying. "I don't have what he cares about." I frowned. "What do you mean?" He let out a humorless laugh and gestured at himself. "Look at me. I don't have muscles thick as tree trunks. I don't have pumpkins growing under my shirt. Thaddeus Heroicus only values the people who look strong. Do you know how many times I've saved his life?" I did. 37 times, all in villain industry standard life or death situations. 37 times, he confirmed bitterly. And he still thinks I'm a waste of space. The day you kidnapped me? That was the day he had me replaced. I sat there, processing that. And for the first time in my career as a villain, I felt something entirely unfamiliar. Outrage. But not at the kid. At the hero.